And now, as Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello becomes acting chairman of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the Governing All Progressives Congress, plans for the National Convention are now underway. And we have learned that he's sent a meeting notice for the convocation of the National Executive Committee of the party, and this all follows the sacking of Memala Buni as the former acting chairman of the party. Now, Bello held an emergency meeting with members of the Caretaker Committee on Monday, which was attended by the acting secretary, Senator John Akpan Udode, at the APC Secretariat, and sworn in state chairman. This development has stirred various debates and arguments on the news that President Buhari may have, in one way or the other, have a hand in Buni's removal and replacing him with his vice chairman. But as Governor Abubakar Sani Bello resumes as the APC acting national chairman, what agenda are party members setting for him? Well, for more, I've been joined now by Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso, who is the Senior Special Assistant to the Niger State Governor, and also Adegboyega Bamisile, a member of the All Progressives Congress. Gentlemen, so good to have you here. I mean, it's been a stormy weather for the APC, and we've seen the party members being confused as to what's happening. But your governor, Kuso, has taken over the reins of the party, and he made it very clear that he's the acting national chairman, and some party members were confused, and others told us that he was holding forth for the former acting national chairman, but he has made it very clear. Just take us through what the governor has been doing and how he intends to run this party before the March 26th National Convention.
Sincerely speaking, I wish to congratulate all APC family for having His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello as the acting national chairman of the party. This is the best thing that could happen to the party, because Abubakar Sani Bello is a man with integrity, with a man with capacity. He's the best boss I've ever worked with. It's nice working with him. And you can see, since he came on board 24 hours ago, he's taking the party to a new level. The things are taking shape at the party. We could see before the former acting national chairman left, there are a lot of things left on the table. Today, you talk about convention. Tomorrow, you talk about swearing in of the coming state chairman. But you see, immediately the governor came on board. The first thing he did was to swear in the chairmen that were elected, so that the state chapter of All Progressive Congress can start moving. So you can see all activities have been happening only at the national level. The state party chairman received their certificate of returns, but they've not been sworn in. But if you can see, His Excellency Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello have shown capacity. He has shown that he has the capacity, the experience to move the party forward. That is why within 24 hours, he swore them in. And also, the next thing he did was to receive report from the zonal office committees, so that they can embark on the zonal congresses by weekend. So you can see he has shown capacity. He has shown that he's a progressive man that wants the party to move from one step to the other. That is what he has been doing for the past 24 hours.
Well, some party members are still yet to come to terms that he's actually the one in charge of the party. Tell us about that, and what other party members who are still skeptical about Governor Sani Bello taking over the APC need to do at the moment, considering the steps being taken, just like he has said. A lot of people were skeptical. The secretary himself, Senator John Akpan Udode, had to send out a statement that it was false, fake news and all of that. But eventually we saw him coming to be on the same table with the governor. These party members who are still careful to relate with Governor Sani Bello, what will you say about them?
So in the same spirit, let me first by congratulating all women across the world. It's International Women's Day today, and encouraging them not to lose speed. I hear that some of the women bills that were submitted to the National Assembly are being looked at currently, but they want all or nothing. We are with them in spirit. So in the same spirit, talking about the party, that the secretary of the party, Senator John, had, initially written that statement. And then we saw him yesterday, of course, with good camaraderie with Governor Bello, you know, we want other members also to understand that, you know, the party is moving on. APC is a party that is, you know, currently deepening our internal democracy. These things are expected, you know, even in the opposition parties, we see what is happening. So we are encouraging members to let us look at issues rather than these sentiments of, you know, we're either in agreement or not in agreement. Let us argue based on issues. Whoever has the superior argument wins the day. As we are currently, Governor Bello is very capable of leading the party to the next chapter, and this is what we are, you know, currently concentrating on. You know, we have very few days to the convention, and he resumed yesterday, got off on a very, very good start. You know, swearing in those state chairmen, and you know, calling for the zonal reports as well.
And all of that. Okay, now let's talk about how the APC intends to move ahead of the convention as it tries to get a formal national working committee. The sales of forms were earlier scheduled to begin to be sold on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Everyone is just still hoping to see if indeed these forms will come out. But tell us the kind of leadership style that we hope to get from this Governor Sani Bello, who is in charge of the APC now. A lot of governors who were skeptical about whether he was in control yesterday eventually left where they were and came to, you know, support him. There were these committees that had been set up by the previous Memala Buni-led caretaker committee. Does he intend to continue with those committees that have been set in place, or he hopes to set up new committees and all of that? You know, everybody has his own style of leadership. I'm wondering how I will have convention committee with each committee with more than 80 people. What are their responsibilities? You don't need numbers to hold a convention. Now we have more than, if you look at the total number of people, they are too much. So it's now, I believe, His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello will look into it. But I think, can he continue the committees, or do he think he need to retrench them? Because most of those members at that committee have no duty to do. They have no responsibilities. If you are looking at numbers of up to 1,000 members for as committee, then how many people are expected as delegates, and what is the population of numbers the venue can take? So all those are the things that His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello will look into, which we know his capacity. He's someone that take his time to look at critical issues to see what will happen. But I'm assuring you, with him coming on board, you see changes between now and convention. We'll have a fruitful convention without any hitches. I believe the sale of the form you said tomorrow, he's looking into it as well. At the due time, he needs to correct the wrongs, what he felt are not supposed to be, what are not priorities. Yeah, and there's also a criticism that he was a vice chairman to Buni. So if all of these things were happening, does it mean that he wasn't aware, or Buni wasn't carrying him along in some of those decisions? As I told you, it's all about everybody's style of leadership. Abubakar Sani Bello, he's a gentleman, and he believes in following whoever is leader at that point in time. He might have his own reservations. What Memala Buni is doing might not be the same thing he felt should be. He's right. Now that is at the aim of affairs, he will look into them, not criticizing the person that handed over to him, but he will look at critical things that he, at his own capacity, he can do. Memala Buni can decide to work with the 1,000 number of committees, but at his own capacity, he can look at that as not very necessary to trim it down to his own level. Yeah, so we believe Sani Bello is looking at the number was actually 1,526 members to actually run this convention. Is the APC convention so chaotic like that you need this huge number of people to actually divide them into several subcommittees to prepare for the convention? Again, isn't the committee itself a convention committee that should have done majority of the things that were being put in place?
Again, there was hardly any need for that amount of people. I'm sure the party was not bargaining for, you know, those numbers, especially in terms of being able to, you know, fund that kind of activity, and of course the kind of chaotic outcome that could have been expected. So for one or two of these reasons, the NEC of the party and the leadership of course agreed that it was time to move to the next phase, which was why what you have seen in the recent days are taking place. This is all part of reorganizing the party in preparedness for the coming elections.
Okay, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we'll talk about the chances of the APC ahead of the 2023. You're still watching the Arise interview. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we're taking a critical look at issues concerning the All Progressives Congress. I'm Somna Sambo, and my guests are still Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso, who is the Senior Special Assistant to the Niger State Governor, and Adegboyega Bamisile, a member of the All Progressives Congress. And with the Governor of Niger State in charge of the party, we're looking at how the party is preparing for the next convention and then issues ahead. Let's talk about the APC and its preparation for 2023. The major hurdle ahead is the convention. Do you think that the party is set to organize a formidable convention, and then it will meet up with the INEC timetable, considering that party primaries will be starting just like a week after the new National Working Committee would have emerged? Let's start with you.
You know, as His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello have said earlier, he made give a press release yesterday that there is no change in the day for the convention. That means convention stands. And all this thing you are saying in the party today, committee meeting, all this meeting today, tomorrow, it's in preparation for the convention. Because we have some few weeks to the convention. And if things are not in order, and we go into convention like this, the crisis that will befall the party will be more than you can imagine. And as you said earlier, the primary election is just weeks after convention. So if we didn't get it right from now, by doing the right thing at the right time, we will never get it right after convention. So with His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello at the aims of affairs now, we've seen the bold step he has been taking to put things in order, to put shape in order, so that we will have a successful convention. I believe we'll come out after the convention, everybody smiling. Then we'll ride on to the presidential primaries, God willing.
Okay, very interesting. And the APC itself looks like it's imploding at the moment, Bamisile. It doesn't have all the necessary organs that would help to regulate its activities. We don't have a board of trustees. We don't have a national executive committee fully put in place. The National Working Committee is, a caretaker committee that is in place and all of that. How do you think that the APC can quickly reawaken itself and have all these structures in place? Because the PDP just released a very strong statement today saying that the APC is just a chaotic machinery just for winning election, and that's just it. They don't have all the structures that make it a political party.
Let's leave the rhetorics, you know. In politics, good leadership within the party organs would produce good leadership at the government level. At the party level, what you see playing out in these recent days is the party carefully organizing herself towards the coming elections, because delivering the dividends of this democracy to Nigerians is at the heart of this party. You know, whatever made President Muhammadu Buhari to do a detour to return to Nigeria very quickly before he continued for his medical tourism, you would know that it was something of critical importance.
Yeah, we heard that it's because
hours
of
after we began to see these things unravel. So what certain people within the party would have wanted was a situation where we didn't go into a convention. That would, you can say, would have been chaotic. But in a situation where you can see now that things are moving, you know, quietly, we're reorganizing ourselves within the party to ensure that we go into these elections with all the necessary arsenal.
Yeah, and what agenda will you set as party members for the Abubakar Sani Bello-led National Working Committee?
So the CCE-CPC always had at the heart of its constitution the fact that we wanted you know, whoever was at party members were aggrieved to have been, you know, brought back on the same, you know, talking terms, reconciliation. We also wanted, of course, that the convention would hold. So thank God that we spotted whatever we spotted at the time that we did, and now we're here, we're moving on into these elections. What, I mean, Governor Sani Bello, you can expect, or Nigerians can expect to see now, is that we'll go into the conventions hitch-free, and by the grace of God, the primaries subsequently
will hold. Well, there's a subsisting court judgment that was issued on November 18, which we hear is what really made a lot of party members angry with the Buni-led caretaker committee. That judgment has court order, so to say, hasn't been vacated. So as it stands right now, until the APC vacates that court order, it cannot hold its convention. How do you think that the APC can quickly do that so that the March 26th date is not shifted and it will affect party primaries?
It won't affect our primary. It won't affect convention. As I'm telling you, we have very formidable teams. The governors are working hand to hand with the acting chairman to make sure that court order is vacated. But what kept amazing us was, where have these court order been for a very long time that we couldn't vacate it? Is someone keeping it to use against us when the convention date, so for some few days to convention? But as we said, you know, parties like this, the ability of you to stand as a party is your ability to settle your disputes. So I'm assuring you, in few days, you will see what His Excellency, the acting chairman of the party, will do in respect to that. We should expect a positive vacation from that.
You work hard to ensure that that doesn't affect, the party.
Yeah.
Okay, what sort of agenda are you all setting for the party's caretaker committee ahead of the convention and the primaries? How do you think members can rally around this new leadership that is in place, and what specific agenda do you think party members should set for it?
We need to work as a team. We need to be united. We need to keep our differences aside to work for the interests of the party, which I believe the Reconciliation Committee of Abdullahi Kuso are doing a wonderful job. So I believe in few days, His Excellency will sit down with them to see how far they've gone, so that we can bring people on board, so that we can have a fruitful convention, a hitch-free convention, which we are believing will have it. Because with that hitch-free convention, we shouldn't be thinking of how do we have a fruitful presidential primaries, you know. So I believe the party and the leadership of the party now have the capacity to work on uniting the membership and bringing all the agreed members on board.
Interesting indeed. And we haven't heard some top party leaders of the APC speaking. Someone like Bola Tinubu, he's also called the national leader of the party. But how could all of this be happening and we didn't hear anything from Bola Tinubu, although officially we see President Muhammadu Buhari being recognized of recent as the national leader of the party, but Tinubu is a staunch leader of the party, and then we also have people like Bisi Akonde, John Oyegun, and all of that. Why are all these party leaders not speaking in the face of what looks like a threat to the corporate existence of the APC?
So again, these respective leaders have spoken on forums where they needed to have spoken. This particular situation is concerned with the NEC of the party and President Muhammadu Buhari. And this is what we have seen here. We have seen President Muhammadu Buhari stand up where he needed to do so, to ensure that what his aspirations for the party was carried out in terms of that convention that was not scuttled on the March 26th. So in terms of what the other party leaders are saying, the respective people who need to have spoken to this have spoken to this. And we can see that the party is moving on with a view to conduct their primary elections. And
okay,
of course,
I would like to actually have your views on that. Why some of these top party leaders have been quiet, like Tinubu, like Oyegun, Bisi Akonde, and all of that.
The party leader has not been quiet about it. It's, you know, this is a party they labored for, this is a party they brought on board. So as I always say is, if you see anything happening, it's because of the founding fathers of the party were not carrying along in some decisions. What I want us to do is we need to go back to how we set up APC initially. In the shadow of this position, all that is happening is our interest. Who take this, who take that. So we need to go back and respect the person, a leader from the Southwest that brought his own party, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a force to reckon with. It's someone that we need to go back to, seek for his own view. Openly, let's ask what is the problem. Because if you take him as a leader, you can imagine when things get off hands. It's because some set of people feel they can do it without him. So we need to go back to drawing board and get back to him to see how we can bring our party in order, which I believe with the coming of Abubakar Sani Bello, the right thing will be done. All those people coming.
All right. We must thank you so much. Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso is the SSA to the Niger State Governor, who is in charge of the All Progressives Congress right now, and Adegboyega Bamisile, a member of the All Progressives Congress. We must thank you for being on the show. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview on the International Women's Day. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Samna Sambo.